Hello guys, what's up? This is Morteza and welcome to a Coder's Journey. This is another episode of my C# training tutorial. In this episode, we're gonna touch on the concepts of user input. So far we have talked about different things, and all we have done with the console class was using this write line method, which helps us to print something in the output. Now, of course, a person who is going to use your program needs to enter values, for example, his age, or I don't know, names, or so on and so forth. So how can we capture, as they say, how can we capture values from the input? How can we allow a user to enter a value, and then we as the programmer, we receive that value from the user, and then we can store it in a variable, and then we can do something with it. Now, as I told you before, this console is a class and it has some methods. For example, write line, which is used when you want to print something in the output. Or for example, the write method, when you want to again print something in the output, and then the other items again are going to be on the same line, right? It turns out we have another method here. It is called read line. And read line, as the name suggests, it is used to capture something from the input, to capture something from the user. So we can say, okay, here is console.readline, and of course it is going to read something from the input from the console, but of course we are going to store that thing in a variable. For example, I can say I have a variable called my full name, and the value of that variable, it is going to arrive using this console.readline, which is going to read something from the console. And then we're going to, get whatever the user enters in the console, and then we're going to store that into my full name. And then I can say, okay, print my full name. And then I'm going to say, your name is, and then I'm going to say my full name. Of course, here I can also use string interpolation, but we're not going to talk about that. We haven't talked about string interpolation, actually. I can say, your name is, and then I'm going to say my full name. I think I will, produce a separate teach a separate video in which I will teach you how to use a string interpolation, which makes your code more readable and more maintainable. But we're going to stick with the first version for now. So when I run my program, I'm going to enter my name here. I'm going to say, this is my name. And when I hit the enter key on my keyboard, this console read line will read this line, and then will put this value into this my full name. And then this line will, run and will print the name. Your name is Morteza Giti. This is how it is run, right? Now, of course, I can also tell my user, first of all, please enter your name. And then press enter. And I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to say, please enter your age, and then press enter. And I'm going to say, okay, I have another variable of type my age, and your name is something, and you are I am using a lot of string concatenation, which is a bad thing actually for the performance of your application. We're not going to get into the details of that just yet, probably in my upcoming videos. But for this simple example, it will not have a very huge impact on our performance. And here the compiler is complaining. It says, cannot implicitly convert type a string to int. So this console read line is returning a string data type, but I am, I am kind of storing it into a value of type integer. In my last video, we talked about the convert class. So what I can do here is say, okay, convert to int whatever you read from the output, from the input. Of course, I could have, done this as well. My age in a string. And then, I could convert this variable into integer. But I have decided to, directly read something from the input and pass it as an argument to this method. And then this method is going to return an integer, and I am allowed to store this value into this, variable. And then I am, creating a string, and I am printing the name of my user as well as his or her age. So I'm also, printing some prompts to let my user know what I am expecting as the input. Let me run this program. Please enter your name and then press enter. So my name is this. Please enter your age and then press enter. I am 32. And then your name is something and you are 32. It works like a charm. So that's how you get input, from the user using console.readLine. But you have to remember that this read line returns a string. And if you want to store the value that the user enters into, a variable, you need to convert that probably. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If that's the case, consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already done so. And share this video with your friends who are learning how to code in C#. Stay tuned for my upcoming videos. We are going to talk about we're going to talk about a lot of different topics when it comes to C#. And also take a look at my other videos about object-oriented programming, like design patterns. They are more advanced than this series, and they can take your C# skills to the next level. Thank you so much again for watching, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.